Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The name is Victoria Bakare, and today's video. If you are an immigrant trying to land a tech job in the UK and you're not getting any callback, relax. This video is for you. This video is for you, but before I continue, if you're watching me right now, you are watching me right now. Okay, so I'm not stuttering. I know the internet is not buffering either. If you're watching me right now and you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, why? It's not going to cost you anything. You just need to subscribe, yeah? Subscribe, like, and share with anyone you know that is looking for a job. Okay, let's get on to business. Even if you're not an immigrant and you're trying to land a tech job, these tips might still work for you. So these are the tips that I used that has worked multiple times, and these are the things that I will be distilling in this video. Why am I doing this video? The reason for this video is because I've been there. Most of us have been there, and being there meaning that we were looking for a job for a long period of time. We're talking months, and this is not somewhere that is rosy. This is somewhere that is very humbling. It's like you have all the skills and you're ready to work, and everybody keeps coming back with a no. But guess what? There's a point where you're not even getting any callback, meaning your CV is not even passing anywhere, and that's the point I want to get you over to getting to speak to a recruiter. So one, let's start with your CV. One of the biggest mistakes I see is putting your current location front, left, center, everywhere. This is not good, or it's not good practice. You want to, as much as you can, avoid anything that would cause bias. For example, the job is in London and you stay in Manchester, and now you have Manchester all over, but the difference is that the job can actually take subtle visits, like a hybrid kind of work, whereby you are needed quarterly, you are needed every half a year, once a year, as long as you're willing to go back and forth, or even willing to relocate. But as soon as they see that, they just assume, there's just this bias. So you need to take that out of the CV and just leave something like open to hybrid, open to remote role, on site, whatever it is that you need. And then when the conversation starts, you can then continue to work. Second tip on your CV: while you're fixing your CV, you need to tailor your skill set, your experiences to the job description. I know a lot of people are like, oh yada, that is quite obvious, but really it's not, and it can be very frustrating considering the fact that you have so many jobs you're applying to. So you probably want to make it very blanket, but there are certain jobs that you are really targeting, and you have certain skills on there, and you need to look out for the keyword and then revamp or rewrite your CV based off of that. One of the you can use one of the AI tools to write it, although there are some tools that flag in AI tools, but I will still take that bet. So you can try to use ChatGPT to rewrite this, or whatever tool that is in your arsenal to use. And also, if you would like, I don't know what you guys really would want, but if this is like something we are struggling with, just let me know in the comment section, and I can probably just do a live editing of a CV template on how to go about this. But I need to know what people really want to be able to deliver. But so first of all is fixing your CV to mirror the kind of job you want. Secondly, take out that address. What is your full address doing there? No, just take it out. The second point is that you talk like you belong, because you actually belong, right? Interviews are not the time for telling us your immigrant backstory. No. You moved from Nigeria, good for you. You moved from India, awesome. You moved from China, amazing. But it's not really the recruiter's business about that. So what you want to do is not say, when I was back in Nigeria, I did this, did that. No, you should focus more on the job that was done, the expertise that was proven, the impact impact that was made in that process. For instance, you are a software engineer, because I'm a software engineer, I'm going to use that example, and you've been able to build a certain app, a fintech app. You just focus on that. Don't say, oh, when I was in Nigeria, no. Just make sure the interview is focused on the impact, the things you built, and how it was done. So there's this acronym that is being used, like a SWOT test. So your strength, your weakness, the opportunity, the threat. I think the T is threat. Yeah, I think so. So you need to process it alongside all that. What was your strength while you were working on this project? What was your weaknesses? But the weakness is very tricky. You don't want to have you ever heard something like what was your weakness? Like, I work too hard. Yeah, something like that. So you don't want to be so negative. Nobody wants to hear it. That's the truth. So you want to make something that is like off the top, like, I work too hard and I don't know where to shut off. That's the weakness. Yeah, you talk about the opportunity. Okay, so for this period, one of the software engineers were not available, and then you had to get a contractor, and then you manage that process. That's the opportunity that probably came through. And then just know how to distill the interview process, and you talk like you belong. So the third step will be for you to highlight your transferable skill. So at this point, you've gotten into the door. Oh wait, before even getting into the door, you can also highlight your transferable skill. And when you're on the call, you're also going to be highlighting your transferable skill. So that tech is quite global. Tech is really global, and I think some other profession might be as well, but for what I'm more familiar with, tech is quite global, and code is code in India, code is code in the UK. There might be compliance things, but they are quite transferable, and that is why it's transferable. So make sure you highlight the skill set that you've gotten from your own country into this new country, which is the United Kingdom, and ensure that there is a link. Find the link. For instance, you manage a group of developers. You could just say that you manage a cross-functional team, which is not just developers. That means that you are saying, I can manage multiple people, different races, different personality. That's what I'm trying to say. So there are certain skills that you've learned over time. Make sure you find a link. You need to sit down with your CV, you need to sit down with what you've done in the past, and then look at what is being required of different kind of jobs, and then see how you can move these skills to be transferable. Going on to number 4, which is this fourth step that you should take. So here is something that holds a lot of immigrants back, and no, it's not your accent, it's clarity. So you need to communicate clearly. You don't need to sound British in your accent to succeed. Or maybe you do. I'm just kidding. I promise I'm kidding. You do not need to sound British in your accent. You just need to slow down. Take pauses as required. Let your points land. Sound confident. Sound clear. Say your words one after the other. And in this particular part, I need to address certain example. Okay, so story time. Some people watching me right now will be like, oh, but this is not exactly your Nigerian accent, because I migrated from Nigeria. You're right, you're correct. I've been in the UK for over 5 years now, and I've been able to pick certain accent, but that doesn't mean in any form, shape that when I started working here in the UK, I was speaking like this. I wasn't. And why did I have to pick up some of this? Now the story gets really interesting. I'm gonna tell you. Are you ready? But before I continue, did you subscribe? Oh, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video if you haven't liked up until this point, because you want to hear the tea. Okay, I'm back. And if you're still here or you've liked it, that means you really want to hear the tea. Okay, so it's not something bad. But over the last 5 years that I've been working in the UK or been living in the UK, I have understood that I have struggled at some point. I won't just come here and just tell you, oh, you can't. I've struggled at some point. At some point, I'm speaking to my colleagues, and even at times I still go through that now, and they're like, oh, pardon, could you come back, could you repeat that? I didn't get that. And it's not their fault, right? It's not their fault, but because when you have an accent that you can clearly hear, you just understand that this person definitely speaks another language, right? And that's the unique thing about people who are immigrants. But at the same time, we need to like focus on the goal that you're setting, which is that the recruiter you're speaking to is quite human and can be very biased. So you need to understand the difference between sounding very clear and actually mimicking. Okay, so some of us, the real tea is that I do a lot of accent mirroring unconsciously without even trying. So you say something, I repeat it the same way you said it. And over time, I tend to sound like my environment. It doesn't still mean I cannot code switch when I want to speak my Nigerian English. I am real there. I mean, when I speak to my Nigerian people, I'm just speaking. But then at the same time, people at times attribute that to being fake. But I do not think so. I think you learn French, you learn German, you learn Spanish, and you try to speak the way they speak, yeah? So when you come to England or you come to the UK and then you are also interested, you don't have to, but if you are interested, you can learn with time, and then if you like it, you can pick it up. If you don't, it's fine. The good thing is you do not need to pick it up or not pick it up. It's just based on preference. So that is what I'm saying. Even if you're not picking up the British accent, whereby people will still mock you or make mockery of you or whatever, you shouldn't really care about what people say. You need to learn to speak clearly. You need to speak one by one really clear so that the recruiter isn't struggling to hear you. And because they're humans, they are not going to be biased. So yeah, that's the tea. You guys really like tea if you waited till this point. But no, I don't want you to go. Let's get to the next step. So this is the fifth and final step, I think. And this is quite dicey, and I don't want anyone angering me, but this one is about your name. Okay, so here in the UK, it's very easy to know different ethnicity and cultural background people or people from different part of the world based off of their names. And like I keep saying, humans are reading these things, and sometimes they're really biased, and you can't change the other person in the other side of the room when you've not even had an opportunity to, speak to them. And at times, to be fair or to be considerate, the other person might be worried about, offending you by mispronouncing your name. So some people would add a pronunciation guide to their names in parentheses, just so as to guide whatever it is that is speaking to them from the other side. Also, some people would use nicknames, and some people tend to shorten their name. For instance, your name could be Ola, Dashu, Ola, whatever, and then you shorten it to Ola with your surname, so that people can just easily pronounce your name as Ola or Ola based on how you teach people on the parentheses in the pronunciation guide. But at the end of the day, it's all led to your preference. I didn't have to do that. My name is Victoria. Literally, it's an English name. And do I have a cultural name? Of course I do, but I choose to go by Victoria. Oh, my dad chose to call me Victoria from her earlier on, so I didn't have to do that. And then I think this is quite dicey because it's all left to you about how you want to be represented, and your name is definitely part of your story. But I'm going to leave you with this line, and it will help you form what you decide in regards to whether you need to shorten your name, whether you need to put up a nickname, whether you need to add the pronunciation guide in parentheses. And what I'm saying is, your name is part of your story. Don't just let it to stop that story from being read. I'll repeat that again. Your name is part of your story, but don't let it stop your story from being read. Alright, these are the exact steps that I took, some of the exact steps that I took in getting the multiple jobs that I've gotten here in the UK, and I hope this is able to help someone. And if you have any comments, don't forget to drop it. If you have any questions, if you need me to help you through any CV reviews, interviews, or any kind of questions, please just drop it in the comment section and I'll be there. Don't share and subscribe. Don't forget to share with people that you actually think would need it. The job search is the ghetto. It's the ghetto. Trust me, you might just put a smile on someone's face. And even if you are in the ghetto right now, hang in there. Something good is coming. Take care. Bye.